Ho ho ho, scumbags. This is Andrew Fantasia from Rebel Scum Podcast, and I'm here today to do something a little bit interesting for the holidays. This is a little holiday treat. It's the holiday season. Everybody's doing crazy stuff. And I got something for you that's a little different. It's a little off the beaten path. Now, it's still Star Wars related. Don't worry, I'm not going to go off on a tangent about the Golden Girls or something, unless you really want me to. No, what I have today is a special treat. This is a piece of Star Wars memorabilia, and it's special to me because I am literally the only person I know who knows that this exists. This is a very elusive, rare piece of Star Wars merchandising, and I wanted to come and share it with you guys because it is too cool not to share. Okay? And if you don't know what I'm talking about yet, what I want to show you is this. Anybody recognize this? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? If you know what this is, you're in for a treat. If you don't know what this is, you're in for an even bigger treat. Let's crack this sucker open, and I'm going to show you exactly what this is. So folks, what you're looking at here is something that's called Star Wars Missions. And what this was released by Scholastic around, I don't know, 1997, I think, because I think I was around 10 years old when this was coming out. And what this was it was a mail order service where every month you would receive a package in the mail that was part of a larger Star Wars role-playing game, a pen and paper role-playing game that you played through a series of choose-your-own-adventure books. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane. So forgive my little shaky camera here, but I'm going to try to show you what this was like. So the first month, you got this beautiful black plastic carrying case with Vader's pretty face on it. Look how cute he is. And inside, you would get the following. So let me just crack this sucker open here. Wow, this is really hard to do with one hand. Okay, here we go. I think I found an edge. There we go. This is what you get inside this Star Wars carrying case. It is insane. It's, like I said, it's a choose-your-own-adventure book game that doubles as a pen and paper role-playing game. So along with this, you would get the book, the choose-your-own-adventure book, and this was the first one you got, Assault on Yavin 4. And look, it's all shiny and embossed. It's #1. And this was, like I mentioned, it's just like a choose-your-own-adventure. You can see here, like, there's parts that are story and parts where you have to take an action. Usually the action is shooting at a stormtrooper or something. It was very basic. And there'd be like a little briefing beforehand. They really set up like a whole world in these books here. And how it was played, like they give you the instructions. It was a very simple thing. Like, you know, you just read what they say, you roll some dice, and then hopefully you beat whatever challenge they set out for you. So that was what I just showed you. It was the instructions. And then here it gives you like a little, you got a membership card. Like, the future of the galaxy depends on me. It depended on me. That's what this card is saying. And look, there's my little 10-year-old writing. That's what I wrote. I hereby accept my mission. That was my code name, 8001.5, because I thought it sounded cool. I didn't have a lot of friends. And this was the mission log. They give you this blank diary, and basically you can write down strategies. So if you ever want to play the game again, look, I actually wrote down strategies. And it was like, wow, I'm going to be really good at this if I keep writing strategy. I guess on this page I stopped writing strategies. But they gave you that, and then every month they would give you characters. So this made up the crux of... actually, before I show you that, I'm going to show you this. You would also get a map every month. See, this thing's kind of falling apart here. But you would get a map of whatever mission you were going on. So let me just crack this sucker open. There we go. And there's a blueprint of Yavin. See, there's the planet Yavin. That's where the Death Star orbited. There's the Yavin 13. There's the Yavin 7. There's the Rebel base, Yavin 4, and there's Yavin 8. Nobody ever really goes there. But yeah, they'll give you a map. And it was just extra stuff. Like, you never looked at the map during the game. You were always looking at the Choose-Your-Own-Adventure book. But you had these cards. And these cards were the spine of the game, really. They were, you know, what you looked forward to every month. And the cards were separated into 4 groups. So you had the purple, or dark blue, I should say, which is characters. So you could play as Luke, you could play as Leia, Han. Obviously, like, the first one, you just get, like, Luke, Leia, and Han, and that's it. And then as time went on, it got really obscure to the point where it's like, hey, you want to play as General Jan Dodonna? Or how about Udin, the most lovable snout Grim Reaper goggle man in the whole wide world? Or, of course, who doesn't want to play as Trooper 1219? I mean, seriously, I'd never stopped playing as Trooper 1219. So you had all these characters here. You play as Wicket. There you go. All you Ewok lovers, you can play as Wicket. You can make your own character. So I made a guy named Bubba who was a surfer dude with long hair. That's insane. And then the red ones were weapons. So you would equip a weapon to whatever character you're using. Obviously, you start off, you just get a blaster pistol, a blaster rifle, or a lightsaber. So if you're cool, you pick the lightsaber. If you're a dork, you pick one of the guns, because why the hell would you want a gun? And then there's different ones. Eventually there was a sword. I'm sorry, a Tagorian scimitar. That's much nicer sounding than a sword. You get whips. You get all kinds of crazy shit. Look at this. There's a stun baton if you just want to lightly tap your enemies into submission. Or a thermal detonator, because those are cool. So you would bring those along, and then some missions, they would need you to fly a ship around. So you get the green cards, and you fly, you can pick a ship. Of course, the first mission only gave you Millennium Falcon, but then you get speeders and X-Wings, which were hot and stuff. And I guess I should show you on the back of these, there's little stats. See? Like, for example, here's Luke Skywalker. So it tells you, you know, he has 1 charm, he has 2 skill, Jedi power, etc., etc. So stuff would come up in the book. Like, say, oh, there's a stormtrooper blocking the way. You have to bluff your way past him. So use your charm, roll a die, and add that to your charm. And if you get higher than 6, you charm your way past him. So Luke's not a very charming guy. Han, on the other hand, Han's got a charm of 2. Leia's got a charm of 2. They have a much better chance of charming that stormtrooper. But if there was, you know, force that had to be used, Luke Skywalker's got a force of 2. Han Solo's got a force of 0. He has no midichlorians. I'm sorry, Han. So he's not going to succeed there. So you got to really be careful who you pick and choose for these missions. And then there's the same thing with the ships, right? You got speed, distance, etc., and what kind of things they can do when you get into combat with them. And it's the same with the weapons. You know, if you're at close range, it's more accurate. And of course, the lightsaber, if you're far away, it has no accuracy. It actually takes away. It penalizes you. So yeah, maybe bringing the lightsaber along all the time isn't such a good idea. Maybe you want to double up and bring a gun just in case. And then finally, we have the actual purple ones, which are force powers. And these were my favorite because even though I never used them in the game, because they were kind of tricky to use, I just loved the graphics. It was this like mid-90s graphical. You could tell they were just experimenting with different fonts. So they have like the different force powers and they like evasion, and you know, it tells you how accurate it is. Again, like if people are resistant to the force or not. So somebody high resistant is somebody like Jabba the Hutt, who you can't mind trick him. So you know, using the force on him would be a little harder than if you were doing it to just like a stormtrooper or something. But like, look at these fonts, like vehicle evasion, there's like a spotlight on it. Deception! Like, sleep! These, every month when I got one of these, I would just go right to the force powers and have a blast with them. Hypnotism, you could hypnotize people, you could camouflage yourself. Balance, I don't even remember what balance did. See, these were really complicated, and I was 10 years old, and so that was what I was feeling, confusion, whenever I used these. So I didn't use them that often. Speed! This is not the Keanu Reeves speed, just in case you were wondering. Capture, like, voice. The force powers were very, like, creative. But again, you know, as a little kid, I didn't really care for that. I just wanted to fly around and use a lightsaber and be Luke Skywalker and all that fun stuff. And, oh, there's Erin Stonefield. You remember her, right? Classic. But yeah, that was Star Wars Missions. And so you would go through this book, and it would say, you know, oh, roll a die. There's a stormtrooper shooting at you. And, you know, they would say, like, if your confront number is lower, you subtract the difference, and you basically have to end the game with a certain amount of points. It's not like a choose-your-own-adventure book where you could reach a part where it says you die and you have to start over. No. You'll get to the end, but if you don't have the right amount of points, you're fucked. You got to start over from the beginning. And there was a thing here, I threw them out, where you could keep track of all your points. I had mine written down somewhere. I don't know where it went. But that was Star Wars Missions. But that's not all you would get. Obviously, you know, every month you'd get a new book, as you can see here. There are lots of books, each one different missions, and some of them you would be playing as a bad guy. Like, for example, The Hunt for Han Solo. You're playing as a bounty hunter in this one, trying to catch Han Solo. That's insane. That's creative. And, like, it would go on and on. You know, Revolted, there's, like, battle droids you have to fight. bounty hunters versus battle droids. There's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. There's Leia. She's being sad. But that's not all you would get. Again, wait, there's more. On top of the maps, of which there were several, on top of the cards, as you can see, there's several. On top of the books and everything else, there were also magazines. So these were the magazines. They were called Star Wars Kids, as opposed to Star Wars Adults, which was a whole different kind of magazine, ladies. But yeah, Star Wars Kids was actually my favorite part. I liked it even more than the role-playing game. And that's saying a lot coming from me, because I'm a dork and I like role-playing games, but this was the highlight of my month every time these would come out. So I'm missing a couple. I don't have them all, and eventually I stopped, and there's more after, but I just stopped for whatever reason. But this is the first one, and basically every issue would focus on one character. It would highlight a character, and then it would have all kinds of crazy stuff in it. Like if you look inside here, like just the amount of things, like this always made me laugh. A Luke Skywalker full color poster for you to keep. No, I thought I would have to give the poster back. Like, really? Can I keep it? But the stuff that was in here was just awesome. Now keep in mind, let's see if we can see a date on this. No, there's no date. There's no publishing date. But it was, like I said, it was 1997. So the Phantom Menace was not out yet, but it was being made. And as you can see, the first article that they had here was called Ask R2-D2 about the prequels. And he would go on, so they would ask him, like, R2-D2, what's a prequel? Is it the same thing as a sequel? And he would give some kind of smart-ass answer and tell you all about it, and his text is blue, because so is he. And he would go on, and it'd be this great stuff like, oh, will you be in the new movies, R2? Oh, yes, and so will C-3PO, but I'm not going to give away all the surprises yet. By all the surprises, he means Boss Nass. There's no way they were going to spoil Boss Nass this early in the game. So they would they talk about the prequels, but then there's so much more in this. They would have puzzles, Yoda's puzzle page. You solve puzzles. There's my beautiful 10-year-old writing, which is only slightly less messy than my beautiful 29-year-old writing. And, there's more puzzles here, and there's stupid jokes like Ewok and roll, and there's some Ewoks rocking and rolling. Or, why didn't Luke cross the road? Because he got a ticket for skywalking. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. And then there'd be, your character profiles. So, meet Luke Skywalker. And then there'd be a whole nice big article about Luke and about Mark Hamill. They would actually interview Mark Hamill, and he'd talk about it, and he was like, every interview was so fascinating. This was the first time I ever, as a kid, got a glimpse into the behind the scenes of Star Wars and saw what the actors had to say about it. So he's talking about it, and there's a point where he says, he's excited. Oh yeah, right here. I can tell you without hesitation, I'll go see the next films. So Mark Hamill was excited for the prequels. And then, some little data about Luke Skywalker. And it's just beautiful. Like, I was so excited for this part because I got to learn about the actors behind my favorite movies. Then there'd be a maze. And then there's this article called Who Does That? And this went even deeper behind the scenes. This talked about, anything. For example, this one was the sound designer. So this talked about Star Wars sound designer Ben Burt and how there's Ben there. And it was how he did all the amazing things he did, from making the Wookiees, the lightsabers, making R2-D2's sound, all that. And every issue was a different topic. Oh, and there's the pull-out poster of Luke that I get to keep for myself. I don't have to give it back. That's the picture of Luke they went with, where he's just chilling in a poncho. Oh, and then On Our Planet, which was awesome. Every issue they would do On Our Planet, which was, they would take a location from the movies, so for example, Tatooine, and then they would show you, first they'd tell you a little bit about Tatooine and like how it works, and then they'd say, where on Earth is there a place like Tatooine? And then they'd show you, like, okay, well, you have the desert here in the western United States, but also Tunisia, where they filmed it in the Sahara, and they would talk to you all about the real-life facts, and you would learn so much. This was like a science textbook, but a fun one. And then this was my favorite, Who Is That Alien? First of all, look at these beautiful these are original paintings of each alien. They're gorgeous. And it was basically every issue they would show you 2 different species of aliens, and they would just tell you about them. Like, what are they? What do they look like? Their culture, what they carry, what they eat, what to do if you run into one. So if you run into a sand person, run away as fast as you can, or do what Luke did. Faint. Like, that's amazing. And every issue would highlight 2 new species, and that's how I know. that's how, when you saw me in that trivia contest and I was like saying, oh, that character is a blah, blah, blah from the planet blah, blah, blah. The only reason I knew that crap was because of this. It was because of who is that alien and these beautiful drawings that kind of guided my eye. I love this article. And then you got C-3PO with Star Wars trivia. And man, I had horrible writing. And he would ask you trivia questions and stuff. And then the missions bonus page, would give you a bonus mission to use in your role-playing game. So in this one, you confront Darth Vader, which is like, whoa! So yeah, you would get, and then extra mission points to add to your grand total. So that was always nice. There was a bonus mission. Space science, they would teach you all about galaxies. All about, and if you look in the contents here, learn about real galaxies. Reals in quotation marks. Why? Did they not know yet? Were they really contesting the fact that they were real? Was it like global warming skeptics where they were like, I don't know about these galaxies. Maybe we should just put some quotes around that. That's hilarious. But yeah, I would tell you about solar systems, black holes. It was awesome. And then there'd be a comic. The comics were not very good. I'm going to be honest. These comics kind of blow. I mean, look at Leia. She looks like she's just like thinking about what to have for lunch. These were kind of lame comics. The colors were nice. It was only 4 pages long, and then that was it, to be continued, and then you had to wait. And then these were all the answers to the puzzles and everything. And then they'd say, next month, Chewbacca. And then next month was Chewbacca. But it was just, every time I got one of these, I devoured these magazines. And like, look, this is where R2-D2 officially announced who was going to be in the movie. It's like, oh, this is going to be Obi-Wan, and that's going to be Anakin. And she was just called the Young Queen back then. They didn't even have a name for her yet. But just, these magazines were so much fun. This one's talking about the producer, Rick McCallum. Now this, you got your thing about Chewbacca. And look, again, this beautiful painting. I don't know who did these drawings, but they were gorgeous. And then you get behind the scenes of Peter Mayhew and what he had to think about it. More puzzles. And there's your poster of Chewbacca. That one's much cooler than the Luke one. And then again, they talk about a place. So because this is a Chewbacca-centric issue, we're going to talk about Kashyyyk. And then where on Earth is a place like Kashyyyk? And they'll tell you all about the rainforests and like the Amazon and all these places where you can find locations just like Kashyyyk. And then again, who's that alien? Talk about 2 more different aliens, beautifully drawn. And another mission for your bonus points there. You can fight some TIE fighters. More trivia from 3PO, more science about stars. And then some more of that comic. And, yeah, it's a comic. But that was Star Wars Kids, and I loved it. Unfortunately, I'm missing some, as you can see here. Like, I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I, for some reason, went to 11. And I don't know why I missed 10, and 10 was Boba Fett. So, I'm kind of sad. I'm bummed that I didn't get number 10, but I'm even more bummed because then you see here 11, 12, which is Tarkin, 13 is Jabba, and then it goes to 15, which is R2. And number 14, which I'm missing, was frickin' Sheev Palpatine, my favorite character. And I never got to see the Palpatine issue, and I'm so upset. I don't know how long this ran. I heard that it only went up to 20, so I don't think I missed very many afterwards. I'm a little bummed I don't have the whole set. I'm not going to lie. It'd be nice to read the other ones, because, like I said, these things are just beautiful. If I ever have kids, which, you know, I'm not off to a great start, but if I ever do, I'm going to show them these magazines. I'm going to be like, sorry that Daddy wrote in the magazines with his horrible 10-year-old penmanship, but look how gorgeous these are. You can learn about our planet, and you can learn about Star Wars all at once. And, like, honestly, if you have these, and you have kids, dig them up and show it to them. Because, like, you get to learn about huts. Look at that beautiful drawing of Greedo. These are outstanding. I really miss Star Wars Kids, and I urge you guys to like dig it up. If you haven't heard of this, check it out online. So yeah, that was Star Wars Missions and Star Wars Kids. I loved it. It was so cool, and I wish they brought it back. I mean, Star Wars is back. Bring it back, guys. Give us some more choose your own adventure books so I can rack up my points again and get a higher score. Give us more of the magazines. Give us a magazine about Rey and about Jakku and Kylo Ren. You can do it again. I miss it. I really do. This was my childhood in a box. Like literally in a black, shiny, plastic, dark side squeaky box. And I loved every second of it. That was Star Wars Missions. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. Let me know, what do you think? Did you like this thing? Did you think it was cool? Did you think it was stupid? And what kind of Star Wars stuff did you have back in the day that nobody else knew about? I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that somebody out there has that I've never heard of in my life, and I want to know. I want to know all about the crap that I missed, so let us know. Jump in the comments. Talk about it. It's definitely worth talking about. All of you, please make sure to like and subscribe, Rebel Scum Podcast. Thank you so much for watching this. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Have yourself a very happy holiday. And remember, if you buy a magazine and there's a poster in it, you can keep the poster. It's yours. See you next time, scumbags. Cheers.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.